Well, hello, everyone. My name is Dave Arbuckle. I'm the Executive Director for AMCTO, and thanks for joining us today. This is our third interview in our Leadership Hub series, and I'm really pleased to be joined today by some really key partners in that Leadership Hub. So before we get started, I just want to tell you a little bit about the Leadership Hub. So it is a centralized platform that connects you with trusted affinity partners committed to supporting your leadership journey in the municipal sector. Our partners offer specialized programs, tools, and services that empower you to lead confidently and navigate the often complex world of municipal management. So as an AMCTO member, you will have access to exclusive discounts, offers, and tailored opportunities from these industry leading partners to help you in your professional development. So again, whether you're seeking advanced leadership training, strategic development resources, or innovative tools to enhance your municipal operations, the Leadership Hub is a one-stop shop for you. So I am absolutely thrilled today to be joined by two very prominent and well-respected members of StrategyCorp, Principal Sabine Matheson and Vice President Stacy Hushion. Now, StrategyCorp provides a variety of strategic advisory services to both public and private sector clients, but today we're really going to focus on the StrategyCorp's municipal services practice. So since 1998, StrategyCorp's municipal services practice has helped local governments achieve their strategic operational and policy goals while building institutional capacity and strategic support, or stakeholder support. The team combines the business and operational knowledge of top-notch municipal consultants with the strong political, policy, communications, and stakeholder relations expertise gained from having staff who have worked really at every level of government in both political and civil service roles. So I think I'll start with you, Sabine. Since you were around in 1998 when StrategyCorp started the municipal services practice, maybe you can just tell us a little bit about how and why the practice got started.
Well, thanks, Dave. And I can't tell you how delighted Stacy and I both are to be here to talk about this. If you had asked me in 1998 what would most thrill me, it would be to have a group like AMCTO refer to us as, trusted partners of the sector, because that was really what we set out to do. I had just come out of the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and all the, always difficult, sometimes visionary, sometimes not so good activities of that government at that time. And I joined StrategyCorp with a goal of trying to be a bridge between the sector and the province to try and carry on some of the work I'd done from inside government, but with, being able to bring my values to it and try to make the bridge be a little less bumpy. And so the very first project I wound up working on was a simple little thing called the Taxi Task Force for the City of Toronto. And it brought together the expertise of licensing, legal, municipal finance, and of course, a huge amount of politics. And so often the case in the most thorny, difficult problems that the municipal sector faces, it's all about the multidisciplinary activities. And, at the provincial level that you and I have both worked in, there are political staff. And there is that professional class of political support that exists below the level of the elected politicians, and in the nice sort of sandwich space between the politicians and the public servants, where the gears of government have to come together if they're going to mesh properly. And I wanted to try and bring some of that capacity to the sector so we could deploy it in solving municipal problems. Because, so often you get a great report, but it can't be implemented because it doesn't have that political acuity. So we were all about being the people who had the rock solid knowledge of the sector, but the political acuity to make sure that the services were customized to things that were actually doable. So that's really the kind of origin story for the group.
Yeah, that's great, Sabine. And yeah, certainly all of those complex pieces and having a clear understanding in relation to how they all sort of come together and ultimately how you manage some of them is so important. Now, I know I gave a little bit of a description earlier about, StrategyCorp's municipal services practice, but I'd love to hear a little bit more in your own words. Maybe Stacy, maybe you can just tell us a little bit about why you think that the practice is so great, obviously, and what really StrategyCorp has to offer AMCTO members in their municipalities.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. So we know from doing our CAO survey every year since 2016 that there's a lot keeping municipal leaders up at night. And it's everything from managing the organization to thinking about some of those big community challenges, affordability, housing, healthcare, and everything in between. And a lot of the challenges that we hear from municipal folks that we work with can feel like somewhat soft around the edges or even kind of abstract. And it's those things that you can't really Google, and you can't even grab your AMCTO textbook to find the answer that you need. So, these are things like navigating a difficult council staff relationship, or how do we make our meetings run more efficiently? How do we navigate the political realities of local government? And today's municipal leaders need all of those tools and strategies to address those issues in addition to the operational responsibilities that they have to manage. And the first thing that we do working with any municipality and including for your members is to listen, which is critical, because sometimes in our experience what we found is that what you think the problem you have isn't actually the problem that you've really got. And second, what we can do is offer some practical advice, informed by our experience. And we've just got Sabine and I here today, but I think the real thing that's special about this partnership is that AMCTO members actually have access to a whole bunch of other folks who are part of our team. We've often made the joke that we're like a recovery center for people who worked in government on either the political or administrative sides, and municipal nerds, which we absolutely are. And, we've got on our team, we've got former CAOs and city managers, deputy ministers and assistant deputy ministers, planning commissioners, community services commissioners, city solicitors, and, political staff who've worked for ministers and mayors and councilors. And so all of these folks bring decades of experience that we think will be really helpful to your members as they look at, thinking about the problems they have and what are some of the tools that they can use. Once we've got a sense of what the issue one of your members has through the online intake form, we can then set them up with who we think might have the right kind of expertise in that area, and we'll set up a video or a phone call. And ultimately, the goal of our partnership is to make sure that your members have an opportunity to get objective, confidential, third-party advice from people who get it and who in 99% of cases have lived it. So that's a little bit about what we bring to the table.
Yeah, that's awesome, Stacy. Yeah, certainly AMCTO is full of municipal nerds who are ultimately looking for some advice that your municipal nerds with all of that experience can bring to the table. I'm going to put this question to really both of you, and Sabine, maybe I'll start with you, and maybe we've touched upon some of these ideas a little bit already, but what do you really see as unique about StrategyCorp? Because we know there's other firms out there that may be working with municipalities or in that space, but what do you see as something that sort of stands out from those other professional service firms when it comes to StrategyCorp?
Well, I'm tempted to say the first thing is the cats, because there's always cats walking on screen when we are, but that's not really it. I think people get the impression about us that because they often see us at conferences that we spend all our time talking, but the truth is we spend most of our time listening. And they only let us out to talk once a year at your conference or at some of the other conferences that they go. But we spend so much time listening to municipal councilors, to CAOs, to other administrators, and also to sort of adjacent groups that operate proximate to the municipal sphere, whether it's conservation authorities or whether it's police services boards and library boards and public health units. This whole constellation of governance is something that that is where we live. And through our interview processes and the surveys that we produce, we are in this incredibly privileged position of knowing kind of what's going on out there And then not just at the level of the big cities, but also at the level of some of the smallest municipalities as well. And then it's the combination of that plus this sort of addiction to problem solving that we have. Because Stacy's right. It is sort of like a harm reduction clinic for people who can't stop doing municipal work, but enjoy doing it out of the platform of consulting practice. So I think what you'd find if you were to talk to us is we're people who sound like you, but people who have a place that we can do our work from that gives us the space to take the best practices that we see all over the province and then deploy them in the interests of your municipality.
Yeah, and that's a great point too, Sabine. We often are very focused on sort of the municipal government space, but that larger local government infrastructure is so important, and having an understanding on all of that and be able to provide some advice in relation to that's so important. Stacy, do you want to talk a little bit about, what's your perspective in relation to what sets StrategyCorp apart?
So I think that, we over the years have built up a reputation for fairness, for pragmatism, as well as expertise in local government. And we take those principles really seriously in everything we do. We're fun, but we're extremely principled about kind of our commitment to upholding the integrity of local government. And I think folks really think that we are enthused about it, and we are. And I agree with Sabine that I think one of the things that makes us a bit special is that we really do understand and we get it. I can't tell you how many meetings we've had or been on a call where, whether it's about municipal strategic planning or roads rationalization or a service delivery review, where we've heard from municipal employees, some of whom are probably members, that they're nodding their heads and they're responding to us and saying, "Oh, you guys know, you get it." And I think that trust that we've built up over the years and over the past 2 decades has been critical to our success as a firm, and why we get invited to speak on municipal matters at your conference and others. We're not just consultants who are here to give you a flashy report and tell municipalities how to do their business better. It's just not how we operate. We're really there to problem solve with them and facilitate a process that can get them from where they are now to where they want to go. And, selfishly, we benefit too, because every time we work with a municipality or every time we get to speak with an elected official or an employee, we learn something that then we can apply to our practice. And, we're constantly getting smarter and are really committed to taking what we've learned and giving it back, as I said, to make local government even stronger than it is today.
Yeah, that's great, Stacy. And again, AMCTO has had an amazing relationship with StrategyCorp over the last number of years, and certainly we're grateful for the expertise that you provided to us at any of the events that we've had. So a big thank you to both of you for participating in today's conversation. Before we go, I want to tell you just a little bit, and Stacy alluded to it a little bit, on how you can take advantage of the opportunity. So AMCTO members are eligible to receive one free 30 to 45-minute consultation with one of StrategyCorp's senior advisors. You must be an AMCTO member in good standing to do this. In order to take advantage of it, go to AMCTO's affinity partnership link that's on our website and click the Leadership Hub. There you'll find additional information about StrategyCorp, their vast stable of municipal advisors and experts, and a pre-booking form to complete. So again, thank you to Stacy and Sabine for being here today, and we hope you'll take advantage of the opportunity.